It was back in 1998 when I was working for then Mayor Mark Morial as his liaison point person for military affairs that I met this person. Together, working with the Mayor's Military Advisory Committee under the leadership of then Chairman Frank Udo, we strived together to try and improve the quality of life of the military here in New Orleans and in the greater New Orleans area. He was then the commander of Marine Forces Reserve. He is now the President, CEO of the New Orleans Federal Alliance, retired General David Mize.
On behalf of our Federal City Project team, I'd like to thank this large audience for joining us on this warm morning to celebrate this wonderful occasion for Louisiana, New Orleans, and the Marine Corps. It is with particular satisfaction that the Federal City team stands in front of you today, delivering the first down payment in one of Louisiana's biggest economic development projects. And we're doing this 2.5 months ahead of schedule, well under budget, and with a superb quality that is evident to the eye and reinforced by the enthusiastic response from the Marines who have just moved into this new headquarters facility. It might be interesting today to review a few of the highlights in our journey to this point. NES New Orleans was put on DoD's recommended closure list in May of 2005. Only 15% of the bases put on the recommended closure list historically ever get off that list and remain open. After this bad news, we went to work refining the Federal City concept, and the state initially came up with $100 million to make Federal City a viable project. We made our presentation to the BRAC Commission in July and found out in late August 2005 that our concept carried the day and we were spared from the closure list. We had a celebration dinner on the night of Friday, August 26, 2005, totally oblivious to the fact that a hurricane named Katrina was going from a Category 1 to a Category 4 storm as we ate, all the while drawing a bead on New Orleans. In the end, we lost a year of work on the project, and the total development cost of Federal City increased by 50%. Despite the delays from Katrina, we were not given any relief on the mandatory requirement to break ground by 30 September 2008. If we missed that deadline, we would have defaulted back to the closure of our base. After some heroic efforts, we met that deadline on the very last day. Although we broke ground in September of 2008, serious construction did not begin until April 2009. Finishing construction on a 411,000 square foot facility and a 29-acre secure compound before the BRAC mandated completion deadlines in the late summer of 2011 was problematic. Our design builder, Carly Woodward, made a bold decision to use tilt wall construction on the Marine Res headquarters building. If this new technique worked, it would lead to a building that was built better, faster, and cheaper. In this tilt wall construction, the massive outer concrete walls of the building were framed and poured on this very site. A huge crane lifted these wall segments into place, and they were bolted together. This building was built from the outside in and from the top down, just the opposite from normal building techniques. It all worked perfectly, and now you see before you the biggest tilt wall constructed building in the South and the largest tilt wall building in all of DoD. It is also noteworthy to report that on this mammoth construction project, there was not even one significant injury by any of the workmen. Our master developer, HRICC, has overseen all this success, and we're so proud of their accomplishments. Eddie Bodner is the principal from HRI, who's led the daily efforts of the HRI ECC team. Steve Anderson from ECC has flown in regularly from California and has provided great leadership in the project. Likewise, our design team, Carly Woodward, and their subcontractors, led by Woodward President Paul Flower and executives Steve Lawson and Bob Liston, deserve great accolades for their exemplary work on all the Federal City project and their flawless execution of the aforementioned tilt wall construction technique. The principal architects, Samantha Sprader, and their partners, Gulf Coast Architects, have all done extraordinary work to design the great purpose-built facilities you see today that are uniquely effective and efficient. Our construction team did not treat this as a regular job, but rather took on a mission to build something very special for the Marines, and they succeeded. Please join me in giving this development construction team a well-deserved round of applause. I particularly want to recognize my board of the nonprofit New Orleans Federal Alliance. Almost all of them have been with us since we chartered NOFA in 2004 to spearhead the creation, development, and ongoing management of the Federal City Project. These board members were selected for their expertise and experience in private and public-private development, finance, and the federal government. They have been by necessity a hands-on board as NOFA has driven the development of Federal City over the last 7 years. Their guidance and operational decisions have ensured the best use of the state's $150 million and have been instrumental in the ahead-of-schedule, under-budget success we're having on the entire Federal City project. This past year, the NOFA board has met about 26 times to be able to exercise their significant and essential responsibilities, so they have to keep ahead of the speed of the project. NOFA board members, would you please rise to get another well-deserved round of applause today? As excited as we are about what we've achieved so far, this is only a down payment on the vision we have for Federal City and the number of jobs and the quality of life amenities slated for this site. Let me give you a quick update on the other projects in the pipeline. Major projects include a 1,000-car parking garage with 32,000 square feet of retail stores on the ground floor, a 400-seat multipurpose auditorium, the renovation of the base gymnasium that will turn into the best YMCA in the region, a child development center, and a temporary lodging facility. All these projects will be completed no later than December of this year. Businesses in final lease negotiations for space at Federal City include the Navy Federal Credit Union, 3 restaurants, a coffee shop, a dry cleaners, a clothing store, a medical facility, a law firm, a grocery store, a consortium of green companies, and a neighborhood tavern. The New Orleans Military Maritime Academy, a Type 2 charter high school, will also move into 2 renovated historic buildings in Federal City. We are in serious discussions with the New Orleans 4th District Police headquarters to move on board Federal City. We also have in various stages of talks and proposals with a number of new potential federal tenants. Our Louisiana congressional delegation is heavily involved with us as we are diligently and aggressively looking for new federal tenants to move to Federal City. So the future of Federal City looks very bright. Let me conclude by talking about the Marines. Probably the biggest goal of the Federal City project is to retain Marine Res in New Orleans. When I first made a visit to the Marine Res headquarters in New Orleans in 1996, it was quickly evident to me that the Marine Res had the worst major command facility in all of the Marine Corps. So at that time I made a mental note that I needed to help do something about that so the Marines assigned to New Orleans would not have to put up with such a poor work environment. Now let's fast forward to the Federal City effort. Our state and community goals have been to make the Marine Res headquarters so effective and efficient that the Marines would never want to leave New Orleans. If you have not been inside the building behind me, I hope you have the time to take a tour of the building that's being offered after the ceremony so you can see for yourself. I believe we have successfully achieved the feat of coming from worst to first in terms of Marine Corps headquarters facilities. I can tell you that I'm personally very proud to be part of the team that has produced this magnificent headquarters and has achieved this great turnaround. No longer will Marines who are assigned to New Orleans have to work and operate in substandard conditions. In closing, I will say that it's been a great Louisiana team effort to produce the terrific results that we are showcasing today. The future of this project, like the future of this unique city of New Orleans, is very bright if we can continue the teamwork and the focus that has gotten us this far. Let's keep that focus and unity. And thank you all again for joining us today in celebrating the opening of this magnificent new facility.